Welcome to the Rushmore Show, where we're about to leap into the thrilling world of video game platformers and unveil the top 4 that have taken us on unforgettable adventures.
Get ready to jump, run, and navigate your way through iconic game worlds, where platforming excellence reigns supreme.
From classic 2D side-scrollers to stunning 3D worlds, our episode pays tribute to the platformers that have kept us hooked to our controls.
This countdown isn't just about games, it's a celebration of the skill, creativity, and nostalgia that define the platforming genre.
Grab your controller, subscribe to our channel, and prepare to relive the top 4 video game platformers that have brought joy and challenge to gamers worldwide.
Get ready to jump into action, because the Rushmore Show starts right now!
Rushmore Show, where it's all about your top 4 and nothing more. Andy, season 3 is upon us. We're talking video games. It's video game month. We're going to do all Q1 video games, right? First quarter of the year, just killing video games. And if you're here, man, you're in for a very tough treat today. Andy, what do you think about video games in the direction we're going today?
Well, the side-scrolling direction that we're going of this week in the platformer games is very difficult, like you said. Also, that sentence grammatically was difficult that I just said. So it's just going to be a blast, man. We love video games. I'm so excited that the whole quarter, the first 2 months of season 3 are dedicated to video games. We've got a lot of fun friends that are coming on, YouTubers in the video game world. This is just going to be a blast. We started it last week, like you said, with Pick and Preacher. This week, we've got some good friends, and we're going to talk about platformers today. If you see behind me, some of these classics. If you look, Kirk has got one of the classics that are there. Probably going to get mentioned today by somebody. We'll see. But Rushmore of platforms, man, this broken record, you can just copy and paste what I've said almost every week. This was difficult.
You got a whole bunch of different platformers, right? 2D platformers, 3D platformers, running guns, running jumps. You got all kinds of different things that we can discuss. We didn't really put any limitations on it. We didn't put any time frames against it. And as you're going to see, we have some younger fellas coming on with their YouTube today. So we might go across several different genres inside the platformer. So. Yeah. It's going to be a fun time. Well, let's get going, man. So let's go chase down the princess, get our fire flower, and do a couple spins on out of here. It's time for your Rushmore of video game platformers. Let's get it.
All right, Summit Squad, let's get this thing kicked off. We have blown in the cartridge. We've placed it in. We have pressed start. We've probably had to turn it off again, maybe hold reset up at the same time, but we're ready to go. Because
the 2 cartridges in at the same time?
We did all the tricks that we could think of, and guess what? It's working now. So, Kirk, who are we bringing on today to talk about platformers with?
You know how we do it, man. We've had like 70 plus different guest hosts come on, many of them being creators in the YouTube world, Twitch. We've got Instagram folks showing up, and none other but today we're going to join in with 2 other YouTube creators. I met them through the grapevine, man. I mean, that's just how this thing goes. You follow one person, you run into another, you run into this person, you run into that one. You see other people in the same pages and kind of sharing the same stuff or the same videos. And we are here. One of the 9 different creators we're going to have this beginning of the year. And we're going to bring on the radical losers. Now, check this out. We have Mad Belmont and we have Rad Bash coming to join us today. Welcome to the show, guys.
What's up, fellas?
Yeah.
What's going on, y'all?
Guys?
Hey.
How's everybody doing?
So let's Mad, I think you're going to go first today. So Mad Belmont, Can't go Mad and Rad because we're going to get that mix. So Belmont, you're going to go first today. And Rad, you're going to go second. By no special order except there was a rock, paper, scissors tournament that Belmont won in backstage in the green room.
Slight controversy.
He's already winning things, so he gets to he elected to take the ball first.
We want the ball, we're going to score.
Belmont, tell me a little bit about your video game journey, what you got going on in your channel, why Belmont, just real quick, have a few minutes and let the Summit Squad know who you are.
All right, so I started my video game journey when I was 2 years old. I got a hand-me-down NES from my brother, the only hand-me-down I have ever liked from him, by the way. And I got a bunch of games with it, and I started with Super Mario Brothers. We may be talking about that today. We might not. Who knows? But I started with that and just ran from there. Now, my channel it started out as just a Castlevania channel. That's where the Belmont in my name comes from, because the Belmont clan with Castlevania. So I decided, let's take a bit of my last name, put Belmont next to it. Why not? And I started out as just a Castlevania and Metroidvania guy, and now here lately I have been branching out into more stuff. It's made YouTube even more fun for me than it already was. So, yeah, that's basically the rundown.
So they can find you at Mad Belmont, right?
Yep, the Mad Belmont on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, all that stuff.
All right, man. So, Rad, tell us a little bit about you. Tell us, your video game journey, why you would be on a platformer show, and just say hello to the Summit Squad.
What's going on, guys? My name's Rad Bash. I started gaming as long as I can remember. I've been gaming. My parents actually got me into it. A couple of the first games I ever played were actually platformers, so this is perfect for me. Maybe some of those will appear in my picks. Maybe they won't. Who knows? But yeah, no, I started YouTube because I love talking about games. I love getting to know people and kind of to honor my brother. So yeah.
Nice.
Sweet. Well, we love video games here at the Rushmore Show and Summit Squad. If you guys are here with us, go and show some love to our new friends. And they're called the Radical Losers. There's a group of several content creators that kind of are under this umbrella, just like our Culture Box. And just go follow all of them, man. They've all got great content. Mad, you're up first today. Mad Belmont. See, I'm going to do that all day. Belmont, you're up first today. So this is how we do it. We give a little bit of a criteria on our first shot. Our criteria is just basically what we were thinking when we were putting together the list. And then from here on out, there won't be any criteria. We'll just move on. Your first pick will be Rosie. So tell us a little bit about what you were thinking, and then we'll get started.
Okay, so going into this, since I played a lot of platformers over the course of my life, number one and most important thing is the gameplay. Is the gameplay good? And so that's basically the whole crux of a platformer, right? You're mostly playing it. There is story in some platformers, but you're not really there for the story. You're there for the gameplay. You're there for jumping across different platforms and stuff. So I said to myself, okay, the gameplay has to be good. Games themselves have to have had some sort of an impact on me. And I had to have immense replay value with these games. That's a big thing for me. If I cannot go back and replay your game, there's something wrong there. There's something wrong. So those are the basic criteria for what I've got going on here.
Yeah, I love it. So with that being said, tell the Summit Squad your first pick, and we're going to go on a 3-minute jaunt on this.
Let's go with our Rosie. What you got, Rosie?
Okay, so my Rosie is one that you probably wouldn't expect, but I had to pick this because it was a game that I got for my birthday back in the year that it came out, and it's Scooby-Doo Night of 100 Frights.
Oh.
Yep, I love this game, man. I am a huge Scooby-Doo fanatic. always have been, always will be. And I love this game mostly because the platforming does feel good. The gameplay feels great, actually. This game has a ton of replay value. I have literally, when I was a kid, when I had my PS2 and I had this game, I played it a good 50 to 100 times. Like, I love this game. And so, also, the fact that it just feels like you're playing an actual episode of Scooby-Doo.
Yep.
That to me just, it's so cool.
Yep.
So cool, man, that
I love this.
Brad probably had that on his mind. So
look, I'm gonna just throw this out there, man. I love this pick. I've picked Scooby-Doo several times for different things in the show in the past. I had it in my scary television shows. I had it for animation. Scooby-Doo is just a fun thing, man. I love it. But what you'll see is with my criteria, one of the reasons I didn't necessarily pick this, but this is a great pick. I did play this. I think I rented this back in the day. I never owned it, but this is a fun game. It's tremendous.
So yeah, I'm shocked because. Not because you picked it. This is a good one. Like, out of all the platformers that I thought, this didn't even make my Benjamins because I have such a long list. I think that because this was later, was this PS2?
It was PS2, Xbox, GameCube.
Yeah. So this was a little not later. Like, I was absolutely playing those. I'm not thinking of those when I'm thinking of just like. There's so many to get past before that I wasn't even going there, but this is a great pick, man. I love the gameplay of this one. I love, I mean, for all of your criteria that you meant, like replayability, like this checks every one of those boxes.
Fun game.
Brad,
what do you think about that one? Apparently you guys knew it about it already.
So yeah, we talk about this game all the time. If he's going to mention that though, Belmont, you got to mention that awful final boss fight.
Yes. Soon it will all be mine. My brilliant plan is working perfectly. All that remains is... What? Impossible. How did you, a worthless cur, make it this far?
That boss fight single-handedly ruined the experience I had with that game, and I love that game. I will get all the way up to the boss fight. I will turn the game off. The game's over. There is no final boss. Mastermind who? Nope, not there.
Oh, man. Okay.
Well, this is I don't know if it's just a blind spot, but I don't remember the boss. Maybe was it that forgettable? What was the boss?
It's the villain they made for the game. He's called the Mastermind. He's just awful.
That final boss fight. It's let's just say it's a gauntlet. It's a gauntlet for sure.
Mastermind is terrifying, man. Like in a not trying to be scary way, but it's nightmare fuel.
He always reminded me of like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde with like the messed up like eyeball and stuff. I was like,
yeah. I remember this guy, looking him up. See, this is why Google's such a great thing.
The Google.
Yes.
The Google.
The almighty Google.
So, all right, man. So that's your Rosie. It's a good start. That's the line in the sand that, that's the one that you say nothing else can make it past. The rest of these usually get easier. The number 4 is usually the hardest because you're saying everybody else you're done. Rad Bash. You're up.
Mad Rad. Maybe that's what I should call myself.
So, Rad, tell me your criteria, and then we'll get started.
So, I live off nostalgia. I'm very nostalgic. So when I was thinking about this, I thought, okay, it has to be something like Belmont said, something I could go back to, but it also had to be something that means something to me, something I grew up with, not just, I could play a game tomorrow and love it, but it's never going to feel the way these games felt. So every game I picked had to be something that meant something, that had a place in my heart, I guess I could say. So yeah, that was my criteria when I was thinking of everything.
I love it. That's a great criteria.
You watched
Our 2 favorite words at the Rushmore Show are iconic and nostalgia. All right,
right on.
You're there.
So I had to go with Kirby's Dream Land 3. I'm a huge Kirby fan. That was the first Kirby game I ever got to play. I remember playing it with my mom back when I lived at my grandpa's when I was little. She always made me be Goopy or Bloopy, whatever it is, and then anytime she'd get close to dying, she would eat me to heal herself. So I grew up on it, and it's a game I run through this game just about every year now and do just a run through.
Dude, I love Kirby. My problem with Kirby. So there's a generational gap here. Andy, you're in the middle. You got your 20s, your 30s, your 40s. Kirby came out at the end of like the string of Nintendo, Super Nintendo, whatever. We're starting to get a second generation and third generation type systems.
Right.
And by the time that came, I actually got introduced to Kirby. And you know what? I think I actually got introduced to Pokemon because of Smash Brothers. And I couldn't stand Kirby in Smash. I just couldn't. I didn't ever liked him. The people that used him was whatever. But I will say this. I've gone back and played these games several times because they're great platformers. They're great games. They are great. It's a great staple of what Nintendo was doing at that time. And right. I loved when Kirby then would take the powers. When that started, which I think was like game 2 or 3.
Yeah, it was later.
Yeah, once that started, I really did start to like Kirby a lot more, like in the actual game. But right. I don't have a big connection to this as nostalgia because I kind of backwards into them.
Right.
But yeah, Andy.
Yeah, this is great. I think that overall Kirby is kind of one of those looked over characters in the Nintendo world, and I don't think he should be. I think he's fantastic. It's well written. It's just an iconic character. In Smash Bros, a very underrated choice to go with Kirby, man. I like it. I'm cool with the Kirby pick.
Yeah, but, I mean, I know he's popular. He just was never my favorite to pick.
Right. No, for sure. But this is a good pick. What I like about Kirby too is like just from an artwork standpoint, it looks really cool. It's one of those games that just like, is just there's another game that it reminds me of that may be mentioned later, so I don't want to name it right now, but it's specifically Dreamland 3 that you're saying here. Some of how the land is formed looks like other maybe mentioned later. So anyway, this is a great pick. I love it.
Showing your cards, Andy.
You watch this long enough. You know my cards.
Belmont, how did you think about Kirby as we finish off?
I like the fact that he went with Kirby. I know how big of a Kirby fan he is. I've known Rad for a while, so I knew that there was going to be some sort of Kirby on here, but I didn't know where he was going to go with it. But the fact that he went with one on the Super Nintendo, not surprised whatsoever. I do not have too much experience with Kirby. I've only played Kirby 64 to Crystal Shards, so it looks like I might have to get some time in with everybody's favorite.
Kirby's fun, man. It's a fun game. If you like the style, it's fun. It's I love the game. I love a type of game that where you can just not get frustrated. You can just go have some fun, play a couple levels, whatever, walk away and not be ticked off.
Last thing I'll say, Kirby is one of those things that this is what's good about Nintendo. You know, like this is such a Nintendo.
Absolutely.
It's just anyone can play this. It's fun. It's just
like that.
I'm not, it's what we love about Nintendo is Kirby.
Right.
All right, Andrew. Rev Ricketts, you're up, buddy.
I'm here, and I don't think anything's going to be a surprise. I'm going to say my surprises from Benjamin's. My criteria is I couldn't overthink it. I played the crud out of this game, and I love it today. I love your pick that you said, Belmont, about the replayability. It doesn't matter how retro and old these games are. These are the games I'm going back to. If you've watched the show long enough, and I'm rocking the retro con. I see you're rocking that too. All of my games are retro games. They just are. I know that there's a million great games out today. I just don't care. So I'm only going to play the things that bring me back to nostalgia and childhood.
Fair.
It's just where I'm at, right? So, with that said, if you were going to equate this to like a starting 4 lineup, we love sports too. These are all home runs, man. I mean, this is like all-star team. This is just where it's at. So really no shockers that are going to come into play here. Maybe one of them is, I mean, it's still a big hitter. But anyway, let me get started. My Rosie coming in hot. I'm going to go with Sonic the Hedgehog 2 for the Sega Genesis. So specifically why I'm going, listen, you throw any Sonic game out there, I am a fan. I love everything Sonic has done. I love the Sonic 3D stuff that they did. I love all of that, right? But if I'm going back to what I played, and look, Sonic the Hedgehog, the original one, I was originally going to go with this, but specifically why I'm going 2. Knuckles, and at the checkpoints when you can jump through the ring and you can do collect the 70 coins or whatever it is you had to do. Those little mini games that happened kind of throughout all of these levels. Fantastic. I love Sonic. I love the characters. I love, even Tails, being able to play as Tails. Just the soundtrack, if we want to talk about music to something.
Yes.
Might be
soundtrack is awesome.
Yes.
Emerald City, all of these are just fantastic. Replayability. You don't have to be like the most strategic, well-trained video game player to enjoy this game, and that's what I like about this. The casual video gamer can pick this up and pretty much figure it out right away. You don't need a tutorial. Just go, just keep going, and don't run out of rings, right? Like, just do that. So anyway, Sonic the Hedgehog 2, that's going to be my pick for my
So what I love about the Sonic franchise is the whole ring life thing, because you can constantly just keep picking one up and go. I love that. I do love the side games. That one in particular where you're running in the ramp forward, that transcended the 3D world, because back then, 16-bit, they weren't doing a lot of 3D type things like that. N64 hadn't come out yet. When this blasted and it started to do that going forward and during the ramps, I remember being mind blown. Like, what is going on? I'm used to what's going on behind you right now, Andy. It's just kind of do, right? And this is like, it brought us to a whole new level. I love the whole Sonic franchise. I will say this. They are all on my Benjamins. So every one of them were on my Benjamins, and this was the best one. In my opinion, this is the best one.
We've like no time left, but what do you guys think about Sonic the Hedgehog 2?
I like Sonic 2. I do not have a whole lot of experience with Sonic, but I did play Sonic 1 and 2 at friends' houses growing up. I didn't have a Genesis. I was mainly a Nintendo kid.
Yeah.
The first 3 consoles I had were all Nintendo consoles.
That was me too.
Yeah. So for me, I had to experience things like this at friends' houses, which is a lost art, it seems today. But I got my experience there. So I played Sonic 1, 2, 3, and then I played Adventure 2 at a friend's house on the GameCube.
Great game too. That's another great.
And I played Sonic Mania. That game is phenomenal, by the way, if you haven't played that. I love that. But yeah, so not a whole lot of experience with Sonic, but what I have played, I have enjoyed. So I'm looking forward to, getting more experience on my belt with the Blue Hedgehog.
So, huge Sonic fan, have a whole shelf dedicated to Sonic. I love the franchise. 2 was actually the first Genesis game I ever played and the first Sonic game I ever played.
Nice.
It started my love for the franchise. So, I mean, that is a phenomenal pick. I love Sonic. I could go for hours talking about Sonic.
I love Sonic. There is
one of my franchises.
Oh, and he has done that. Like, we've stayed up till 4 a.m, literally talking about stuff like Castlevania, Metroid, Sonic.
All right, Kirk, we're gonna go to you, man. Criteria, and then give us your Rosie, man. Let's end the Rosies.
Yeah. So criteria. I love all you guys' criteria. Here's the thing that you guys missed that I'm doing today. Replayability, yes. Is it fun? Love. Did I play the crud out of it? Yes. All those things. All of these I've owned. 1, 2, because they're all from my 4 favorite systems. I'm giving you Mike George of each today.
Ooh.
You go back and watch the console episode. You'll know what my 4 favorite systems are. If you haven't, you're about to find out. I'm going right off the bat with my favorite system, only because it isn't really well known for platformers, which is funny to me. There are a bunch of well-known platformers, but not for me. I never purchased these because by the time I got there, I had this system mainly for role-playing games. Belmont, you chose it from my system, PS2, but I'm going with a different one. I'm going with Prince of Persia: Sands of Time.
Oh yeah!
And I am bringing
Yes,
out.
sir.
Yes, I'm bringing this one out today for two reasons. One, the original game blew my mind on Nintendo of all the actuality of how the prince would actually move and climb down and do all those things. And so many games. I'm talking still to this day are mimicking what they did in that original Prince of Persia in Nintendo. But this one right here blew my mind. They made a movie after it, which was absolutely terrible. Jake Gyllenhaal, you were terrible.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never understand.
But the Sands of Time, this movie or this game, and we didn't do that, but yeah, this game is it messes with time. Obviously, it messes with. I love anything Middle Eastern, anything kind of fantasy wide. This brought us to a different spot. You know, it's like Aladdin multiplied, right? Which Aladdin also mimicked Prince of Persia. So I love this game. PS2 is going to be my first go. And my first one, my Rosie, will be Sands of Time. Andy, you all guys got excited, and I like it. But Andy, go ahead.
This is a banger pick, man. I love this. You actually took this off of my Benjamins, my long list of Benjamins, but it was on there. I love this game. So what I said about Sonic, how the novice can just pick this game up, Prince of Persia, you got to be patient. You've got to be patient with this game. It's puzzles. It's all of this stuff that's happening in the middle of like this whole platform. This is a fantastic pick. I will tell you, I did play the crud out of that one too, a whole bunch of it. Now, there's a lot of Prince of Persia games. There's multiple, but
the other one is actually much better. I don't own that one. I've only played it a little bit, but it's a fantastic too.
I like Sands of Time better. I'm just more of a. I don't know why.
Warrior Within.
Yeah, it's good, but I like Sands of Time. So this is a great pick, and I agree. The movie was not good, so. Got a two for two on the bad movie.
Last thing, criteria. I'm actually choosing different types of platformers as well. So this is kind of the 3D platformer.
All right. So you guys enjoyed it. I know, Belmont, you are definitely a fan of this pick. What do you think about Prince of Persia?
This was one of my favorite PS2 games, man. And the PS2 is my favorite console of all time. I love that system.
It's the George.
That came out at the perfect time for me. I was 5 years old when the PS2 came out, and I literally grew up with it. Like, I was from 5 to, I think, about 12. I had a PS2, and I was fine with that. The PS3 and the 360 came out, could care less. But I love this.
PS2 was my late high school, college years. This is
okay.
Yeah. I was in high school. I was absolutely maybe junior high school age.
It was like college years. Yeah, PlayStation 1 was late high school, then into PlayStation 2 college years.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good stuff. I do love the PS2. It is not the best console, but we'll talk about that later. Bad
Batch. What do you think about Prince?
I have nothing to say on that. I have never played any of those games.
Wow. Oh, my heart.
I've been told great things. I have thousands of games. I own all of the Prince of Persia games. I've never touched them. I don't know why. I've heard great things. It looks good. How much
they've actually done to impact that type of game. I mean,
right.
All the way like Assassin's Creed, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
things absolutely. Like that. They have actually, even the Metal Gears and all that. You get a lot of things from Prince of Persia all the way back to the Nintendo one. So,
yeah.
Do yourself a favor and pop that disc in as soon as you can.
I will have to do that.
All right, man. So we are done with our first level. Belmont, you're up for our next one, and we don't need criteria now. We're just going to jump right in.
All right, so my third pick here,
TJ Jazzy Jeff.
TJ Jazzy Jeff, is Super Mario Odyssey. This came out in 2017. I was there for it day one, went to a midnight launch for it. Had the best experience I've ever had at that midnight launch, by the way. And I went home and I literally poured like at least 100 hours into this game. Like it literally took Super Mario 64, which was already the best 3D platformer ever to me, and it just did everything better. The worlds were bigger and better. The worlds were more vibrant and colorful and just begging to be explored. And you just go through and you collect the moons, and it felt good to finally not be kicked out of the stinking level for collecting a stupid moon, because I hated that in Super Mario 64. How you'd go, you collect the star, and it's just like, oh, boot you back out. You got to go back in. What? So I loved how it didn't kick you out of the levels. You could just keep on going. You could keep on playing. And I appreciate the gameplay. It's some of the best Mario 3D gameplay ever. And I had a Switch back in 2017. I had to sell it. I finally got a Switch back. One of the games that is on my to get list this year is that game. I'm getting it back. I'm getting it back for sure.
It will be mine. Oh, yes. It will be mine.
I've seen it. I want to play it so bad. It just 2017, like this started getting into that where it's like, I'm not doing not that I'm not playing the video games, because I am, which I'll talk about in a minute, but I'm collecting more of my childhood. And this was more 2017. This was what, I mean, we're talking, 7 years ago. So I was not collecting new video games at that point.
So yeah, I haven't played this, but I obviously know it. We bought we ended up getting a Switch Christmas a couple years back, probably 3 years back, and my son, he was just popping in here a little bit ago. He is not; those weren't the type of games he necessarily wanted. So in the beginning, I was buying games for him. That is on a very short list of games that Dad wants, and so I'll be purchasing that along with the new one that just came out and a couple others that I love. But I play about half the time. Well, actually, I probably play 3/4 of the time now. He plays it half the other quarter.
The last one I played was Sunshine,
which is fantastic too. I've got that one.
I love that game. But that's the last one I played. I kind of fell off of Mario. I'm not sure why, but yeah, Sunshine was the last one. So no, I don't have much to add to that.
Fun story about Sunshine. I have the GameCube Famicom Japanese version, which is one of the only Japanese games I own. But yeah, man, so we will move on to Rad Bash now. And what is your TJ Jazzy Jeff?
So my Jazzy Jeff, I had to go with Pac-Man World 2. I love this game. Very nostalgic. It was very cool to see Pac-Man go from what we had seen in the arcades to a 3D world platformer. And it is actually the preferred way. I prefer this as Pac-Man. Like I could sit down and play the other Pac-Man games, but this one right here is just like so much more enjoyable than going in a square, and I can't do it. I could play this for hours. This is fun.
Yeah, that game, I rented it for sure. This was a Hollywood Blockbuster Video kind of rental for me. I mentioned I did have the PS2. I enjoyed the PS2. It was in high school and things. I loved what they did because they had nothing to go off of. Essential other than a character and that the ghosts and the cherries and a few little things like that. But I mean, what story did they have to go off of for Pac-Man?
Right.
They could.
You had the cartoon. You had the cartoon.
Yeah, 19 people watched.
Don't act like the cartoon wasn't good.
19 people watched that, Kirk. You were one of them.
Yes.
I was like, there's a Pac-Man cartoon?
Exactly.
Like, what?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So, hey, let me jump in here. Retro Cannon covered this first episode. Retro Cannon, by the way, is my son. You guys go follow him. Everybody go follow him. He is going through the essential guide to gaming. Here it is right here. Retro gaming, and game number 1 was Pac-Man. It's a fantastic game. But yes, Pac-Man, the cartoon was actually, there's a couple Pac-Man cartoons. There's at least 3 of them that I can think of off the top of my head. But the original one way back in the early 80s that came out when the video game was the best. The song is in my head right now. But here's the deal. I love this game, and you know what's shocking to me? So when I was going to pick PS2, I couldn't figure it out. We already have 3 of the 6 picks PS2, and I'm like, nah, okay. But this is a great game. It was on my short list of platformers, but behind some heavy hitters. But yeah, I didn't have this one, but I do know this one. I actually think I rented it at Hollywood as well. Andy, you probably had it checked out while I had it. We were fighting for it, you know? But yeah, Belmont, you like Pac?
Oh yeah, I like Pac-Man World. I actually rented that game along with the first one. My PS2 was my PS1 and PS2 combined. So I played those first 2. I do like 2 more than 1, but 1 was still pretty good. I rented the crud out of that game right there because that was one game that I know me and my dad, because he loves Pac-Man. My dad does. So me and him, we would sit down and he would watch me play it and watching me just sit there bouncing through the levels, you know, how you would just jump and then you would do the bouncing method. He loved seeing that. And he loved seeing me kind of decimate the ghosts and get those cherries and everything like that. So yeah, I loved it. Loved that game. Great pick by you, Brad.
So here's a fun story, and we'll move on to Andy. Andy's doing a Nintendo 64 quest at all these conventions, and I'm doing a PlayStation 2 convention quest at my conventions. And I don't have this game yet, so I'm on the hunt.
Hey, there you go.
This is a good one, man. This is definitely a good one.
I'm going to hunt for Scooby, too. Yep. I got
nice.
Just don't do the bus. Skip the bus. The game's over. Don't do it.
All right, Andy, you're up, man.
This, if I'm going to say platformer, I already started with a heavy hitter. I'm going to continue my thread here. My favorite of this, there's 1,000 of these games, okay? And I'm just going to pick the one. I thought about picking one that was going to encompass quite a few of the heavy hitters, but I'm going to go with my favorite of all of them. Give me the Super Nintendo's Super Mario World.
Ooh.
Mario World is my favorite. It's the best of them. For me, 90s kid, 2000s kid, you couldn't beat this game. Well, you could beat it, but you couldn't get better than it. That's what I'm saying.
Right.
Yeah.
No, this game is great. Again, like I said with Sonic and the soundtrack, the Mario soundtrack is probably the number 1 video game soundtrack of all time. I mean, if I'm thinking, like, probably most iconic. It is
bold statement.
Bold statement for sure.
But I, if you're gonna say
iconic, maybe
kid, iconic, hey kid, what is this song? If they don't know a ton of Mario, they probably know this comes from Mario. So
yeah.
But anyway, I digress. I'll say this. I think this game this was before I felt like we counted hours that we spent on games. And I don't even know if there's a number high enough to tell you how many hours I spent playing Super Mario World. It was fantastic. The fact that you could be Luigi, you're going through this world. You can get on Yoshi. Yoshi was an amazing addition to this. You're eating the apples off of the tree. You're going through the world. You're finding all these secret kind of ways to go. You've got Star World that you get to go to. There's just so many cool things in this game. This is the Mario game that I played probably the most, especially on the Super Nintendo. At that time, this is just my favorite. I love Super Mario World. I thought about going All-Stars because it was going to encompass a lot of them.
Yeah, that's it.
Let me be fair. And
I thought of that too.
So Super Mario.
But here's the thing: flip of the coin. You're talking about Mario retro games, retro side of things. Mario 3, Mario World, Mario 3, Mario World. Unless you're a purist, you get Mario 1. The weirdos that like Mario 2 come out.
I love Mario 2. I think
wait.
I feel attacked. Why are you calling me a weirdo?
Wait, which I'm one of those weirdos.
Okay.
Yeah. So Mario World, though, it brought in new elements. It brought in the cape. It brought in Yoshi. It brought in a banging Bowser. That Bowser was off the chain.
Oh yeah.
It brought in the whistle for the warp, which made warps normal. I mean, like all kinds of things kind of came in with that game. The Tanuki suits and all of that stuff. Love this game. Definitely on my list. It is my number one, Benjamin.
I love this game. This was the game that I got with my Super Nintendo. Okay. And it was really the only one that I needed for that system for the longest time, because that game has an infinite amount of replay value. And I just, everything that you guys said, that encompasses that game. The replayability, the gameplay is so fluid. It is the best 2D Mario game still to this day. And
speak the truth. Let them know.
Yeah, like don't get me wrong. I love 3. 3's good.
It's great.
But it ain't World.
Yeah, I love 1, 2, 3, 4. I love them all, to be honest. But this is the best in the retro side, in my opinion.
All right. Listen,
Brad Bass, we weren't tackling you or nothing. Chew is cool. Doki Doki Panic was off the chain. I mean,
I love that game. I love the music in that game,
dude.
too.
I love Luigi in that game, dude. Fave.
Actually, never play as Mario in that game. He's the worst one in that game.
He's the worst. He's the worst.
He's like average everything. No, Toad digs fast, at least. He's got that. Yeah. But anyway, Super Mario World, Rad Bash, did you like this one? I know you're...
3 is my favorite.
Okay.
Out of the old school Mario, so I'll say that. But no, World, I can't tell you how many times I played that with my mom growing up. I can't tell you how many times I have executed a Yoshi to make a jump. Rest in peace, all the Yoshis we've lost. In the arms of the angel. But yeah, no, it's a great game, and it has paved the way for a lot. And I really think it was a great addition to the Mario franchise as a whole.
Love it. All right. Good pick. Good way. Yes. Time to finish off our first half of the mountain. And I'm notorious for not starting the timer for me. So there you go.
You did it.
So I'm going to just go out. So I had a 3D platformer. This time I am going to pay homage to our guest. And I'm going Metroidvania platformer is my pick here. I'm going PlayStation 1, and I'm going with the best Castlevania of all time. All my Castlevania friends, you better show up. But it's right
my
here.
God.
Yes, sir.
Baby.
Yes,
So,
sir.
Number one. This is the number one Castlevania for you, Belmont. I love them all, though. I say I love them all. I love them all up to this one. Many of the ones after this, which are kind of very similar to this, I haven't played them all. Like the painting one, and there's a bunch of other ones. But this is kind of where I stopped. But all the ones prior to this, 1, 2, 3, Super, this one. But I have hours. I mean, lots of hours. I probably completed this 100% 3 times, 4 times, which it's a very long game. And I've been playing it on Switch as well. And on this, I've been playing it. So it's one of those games that I brought back because it's one of my favorites. It's kind of a thing out there. It could have its own Metrovania could be its own show, but it is a platformer style, and this is the best one in my opinion. So go ahead.
Absolutely.
Yes, absolutely. And you hit the nail on the head. This is the best Castlevania. It's the best one. It's my favorite game of all time. I love this game. Cannot get enough of it. I play it at least once a year, at the very least once a year, and that's every October. But of course, me being the Castlevania guy, I'm going to play it more per year. I cannot tell you how many times I have 200.6% at that game.
There you go.
So, yeah. Great pick. And I may or may not.
I remember the first time finding
well.
that little place with the bat going up. I'm like, oh my God, I finally did it. I finally got up there. And it like, this game is just so cool. I love how the mist, and I love the bats, and I love the sword, and I love the whole idea. I just love how the guy moves, and it's just such a great game. Such a beautiful game as well. Fun game. And talk about soundtrack.
One of the best soundtracks ever in the history of gaming. I mean, oh my God, I cannot.
Andy, I know you probably are dark spot here, huh?
So I teeter on this one because it's elements of RPG, and if you know me, RPG is get it out of here. But I will just say this:
this guy, what?
Not hating on the game because it is an iconic game. It has stood the test of time. So obviously there's a lot there. There's a huge fan base to it. I don't want to knock it that much, other than this is just not one that I'm going to. It's just not where I'm going to go. But I will tell you, it deserves to be on this list for as iconic as it is. So good pick. Way to go.
Yeah, great game. All right, well, that's the first half of our show, and it is time for a platforming iconic commercial. We'll be back in 2 and 2.
Something's coming up the plumbing for Luigi's in a bind. Giant turtles out to get him, creepy crabs are right behind. Fighter flies, jeepers, shikes, they're all coming out the pipes.
Mario, where are you? It's Atari Mario Brothers with Mario from Donkey Kong, his brother Luigi, and lots of crazy creatures. And it's twice the fun when two play at once, because you need all the help you can get. Mario, where are you? Mario Brothers, new from Atari.
I got Donkey Kong, and now I'll get you too, Junior.
I'm Donkey Kong Jr., and that's my papa. I'm trying to save him, and boy, do I need your help.
Nintendo's Donkey Kong Jr., the arcade game, is now the Super Home video game.
Save your papa, huh? Save yourself first.
He's chasing me with snapping jaws, and I could fall.
Help Donkey Kong Jr. save his papa on your ColecoVision, Atari 2600 VCS, or Intellivision video game system.
Game players everywhere, please help me save my papa.
Welcome back to the Rushmore Show, where it's all about your top 4 and nothing more. What a fantastic commercial that was. Andy, it is time to give our friends a little bit of a peek into some of the things that we've been doing. And if you know, guys, we aren't a Christian podcast, but we're not a Christian podcast. And we have partnered with a bunch of Christian creators in this world that do several other things. And coming up at the next RetroCon, we are going to be doing what's called Reboot. Reboot is a unconventional ministry where we are going to go out and have church service at the convention in a kind of a unconventional way, a little geeky way. But man, just to reach the abandoned, the afflicted, addicted, and alone, which I said that's where I'm called, and I feel like that's what they are, because that's us, man. That is us. And some of the guys that have actually inspired us is Culture Box. And today, who at Culture Box are we going to let the fans know about?
We are going to talk about our friends over at Stunning and Brave. So each week, hosts Chris Cowan of the Babylon Bee and Nate Henderson of Some Boring Budgeting Job confess their privilege, spotlight stunning social media posts, and fabricate outrage, all while keeping you super woke and enlightened. They will make you laugh. That's right. You have no choice. Check out Stunning and Brave at stunningandbrave.net. Go check them out. They're a blast.
Tell them where you found them.
Let them know we sent you.
Yep.
We sent them to the special man. I say.
Let them have it.
Let her have it. Anyway.
All right. So our friends wouldn't know that reference. That's a New Orleans reference. But anyways, hey, we're at the second half of the mountain. It's time to climb the rest of the summit. And Belmont, you're up. And I'm ready to see what you've got in the bag. Let's go. You're up for what we call Link. Now, there is a Link platformer, but if anybody's ready to drop that bomb. But do you? Hey, Belmont, where are you going?
All right, so my next pick is from another one of the granddaddy franchises for Metroidvania, and it's Metroid. and it is Metroid Zero Mission. I love Metroid Zero Mission. This is actually a game that I didn't play until this year, and it is that good that it's on here. Okay, I love this game. I love the original Metroid, but there were some things that I had. There were some issues that I had with it, such as no map and getting being able to easily get confused on where to go and stuff like that. And I did feel that the jumping was kind of floaty. Felt like you were. In my review of Zero Mission, I said it was like you were floating on the moon while also being underwater at the same time. No. But Zero Mission kind of refined that gameplay. The jumping felt good. You can actually sit there and do some tricks and sequence break even better in this game. And it felt like a 1-to-1 copy with like a little bit of extra pizzazz on it. Zero Mission was. So I cannot recommend this game enough. If you like Metroid and you have not played this, please play it. I literally played it this year and it's already on here. Like, it's that good. It's that good.
So Game Boy Advance makes a showing, right? This is the one you're picking? Or are you going to this NES version,
Game Boy
which
Advance.
is like the remake?
I'm going with the Game Boy Advance remake. Yep.
Yeah, so Game Boy Advance, man, I love the Advance. I did not have Zero Mission, but I did have 2 other Metroids and the Advance. I remember this was my military days, traveling. I was kind of overseas a little bit, and I really wanted this game, and it has high praise. It's a very good game. I love all the Metroids. For the most part, you get them. It's kind of like Castlevania. Any franchise, any big franchise, there always going to be a couple duds. This one was not. It's one of the top on that side for sure. Andy, you got knowledge on it?
Some. There are, like I said, or like you said, there's some Metroid games that I would pick ahead. But I'm not going to hate you for picking this because obviously everybody's kind of got their own personal take on this. I just really hope that the one that I'm thinking of gets mentioned today. Maybe in Benjamin somewhere. It is a chef's kiss, a fantastic game for the GameCube, and that's all I'll say. I'll stop there.
Oh, I think I know where you're going on that one. I think I know where you're going on that one.
You have Benjamin.
It also got this right here.
There it is. There it is right there. Anyway, Rad Bash, you thoughts on Metroid?
So I'm gonna get. I feel like I'm gonna get hate for all these comments I'm making. I've never played a Metroid game. Any of them.
Not a one.
Not a one.
I am peer pressuring him to get into this series.
Have you played as Samus in Super Smash Brothers?
Yes, that I have done. I've done that.
At least you've done there. At least you've done that. So
I'm familiar with the character and the story and things like that. But yeah, I've never played any of the games. I don't know why.
Wow.
Hey, look, there's always time. There's always time.
He's not picking it, that's for sure.
No. Well, we'll see. But
now,
all right. Well, Rad, your turn. We know Metroid's out of the bag. So where are you gonna go for your number 2, your Link, your second on the mountain?
So we talked about Sonic already. Sonic 2 got picked, but I'm gonna go 3D Sonic. And I'm going to have to go with Sonic Adventure DX on the GameCube.
Nice.
Great pick.
This is one of my top 10 favorite games of all time. I got it with my GameCube when I got my GameCube. It helped spark the love I had for Sonic. I had played Sonic 2, but it was this game just awoke the love that I have for Sonic. I've set out to get all the figures from it. Like it is just I love this game. It's clunky. It's, not aged the best, but it's still a great game in my book.
It's very fun. That is a fun game. Very entertaining.
To me, and this style of Sonic game, going back to what we talked about in Sonic 2, how we had the kind of almost beginning of that 3D. This is like, I think what they were hoping they could get to. And they were starting by what they did in Sonic 2. and I love what they did, because many of the Sonic games are this way now, where it's the same game you've been playing essentially, but now we're not viewing it from a side scroll standpoint.
Right.
Seeing it, and the camera angles change, and the environment around being interactive and everything. So this is a great pick. There's plenty of games that I feel like this is what Sonic has been this kind of style of platformer, which I love. So yeah, fantastic pick. I love that GameCube's getting some love. So way to go there. So
love the GameCube.
Yeah, good stuff. We had an episode. Well, I don't even know how long ago, but it was last year. We had an episode where we talked about our top 4 GameCube games. So go check that out. And but yeah, any other thoughts on this one, guys?
Yeah, I mean, I love this game. I love all the Sonic franchise. You know, I love that it's even making a comeback. My son loves Sonic because of the movies, but we have several on the Switch. This is a fantastic game. Like Andy said, it was kind of that transition from this style Sonic behind me to kind of going 3D, and it did it well. I wouldn't say it's the best, but I wouldn't say it's the worst. I can tell you this: I wouldn't say it's the best because I don't have enough hours in it. But there is one or two in the top of my mind that I have played quite a bit because of having the Switch, and a few remakes of some that are really fun, really, really awesome. So if that one's anything continuing like that, I applaud it.
I do not have any thoughts on this game because I actually played the sequel, Sonic Adventure 2. I did not play this one back.
Now, Sonic Adventure 2.
Yeah, Sonic Adventure 2.
One, and that's a bad game.
I like that. I like that.
Which made our list in our GameCube. Yep.
Ah, okay. But yeah, I like Adventure 2. And so if this is more of that, then I'm definitely going to enjoy it if I ever do get around to it.
Yeah, you'd enjoy it. If you like Adventure 2, I think you'd enjoy that. They kind of all are similar.
Okay.
All right, Andy. I have a feeling I can peg both of these. And let's see where you're going.
So with your
I'm going to boycott if you don't. Again.
I might shock you. I might not. Who knows? Let's see what happens here. So with your Rosie, you were very much, you said you picked your favorite console, correct? You went with the PS2. I waited all the way until Link to get to my favorite console. And when I think nostalgia, are there platformers that are better than this one? Absolutely. Are there ones that I have in my possession right now that are better than this one? Yes.
There isn't one you've talked about more, though, than this one.
I've talked about this one a ton, and my link is going to be Banjo-Tooie.
Oh, yes, sir.
Now, specifically Tooie. Now, you could have given me Banjo-Kazooie, and I'm fine with it, too. Tooie just adds the other element of now being able to separate Kazooie and Banjo and to play as both separate people, which just adds another element to it. So
I love how you call them people. That's fun.
They're all family, as I grew up.
Those are his people. Come on,
they're my people. Yeah. Listen,
Yeah.
I grew up playing the crud out of Banjo. In fact, collecting the N64 now, this is one of the first I had to have this. I have Kazooie and Tooie. It's a fantastic franchise. I wish that there was more to it than what there wound up being. I mean, they've still recreated these games, but I'm honestly, if you gave me the N64 and I just had those two games, I'm content. That's all I need. Like I said, there's other ones there's one that is eerily similar to this game that is from another franchise, but the same company put it out, which I may talk about later. But this is a banger of a game, man. And also soundtrack with the banjo.
Oh, absolutely.
I love that. I love it so much. It's a fantastic game. Anyway.
So we've talked about this plenty of times. So I want to hear it from them. I knew this is where you were going with this one. I'm pretty sure I got the next one too. But what I will say is this. I love the comedy in this.
Yes.
I love the writing is so silly and so funny, but it's not over the top like, say, Conquer, right?
Yeah.
But it's silly enough that where you could be a young kid and play this and really kind of it's slapstick, and I love it. It's great.
I love the banjo games. I rented the crap out of them as a kid, and I actually have both of them on the Rare Replay collection, which is behind me over here in my Xbox pile. I love these two games. They were games that I grew up with. They were games that I rented a lot. My local rental store, which was not Blockbuster, because I live in a small town, so we don't get that luxury.
Small town girl.
Yes. So me living in a small town, I had to go to my local rental store, which was called Movies to Go, and I rented this game. I'm telling you, I probably could have bought it like 3 times how much I rented this game. So yeah, and the original as well. So, and I will agree with you, Kirk. The comedy is great. I love it.
So love the Banjo series minus Nuts and Bolts. That was an awful game. But classic Rare made some absolute bangers. You brought up Conquer. That is a great game. Definitely not for children. Did I play it as a child? Absolutely. But the Banjo, and I said this before when they got brought to Smash, maybe we're gonna get more, and we never got more. But Banjo, the series deserves so much more love. It is such a classic, and like it was mentioned, the soundtrack is just amazing.
Fun game, man. Fun game.
I'm gonna jump into mine. Here, let me reset this. And
let me just say this while you're resetting this. I'm surprised there has not been a Rushmore yet. There's a lot. I know there's a lot of these games, but there's a lot of bangers.
Oh yeah.
Well, you're talking about bangers. My next two are if we haven't done this show yet, but if we do top video games of all time.
Oh.
These two are in the running to be on that mountain. My next two.
Nice.
Right? So if you know the show, I've already picked my 2 PlayStation, which means I'm going my 2 Nintendos now. Super Nintendo. I could flip them back and forth because these are both phenomenal games, but I'm going to go Super Nintendo first. And I'm going to go with a hybrid platformer. There are parts of this game that are platform. There are other parts of this game that are not. It's probably the best Super Nintendo game of all time. Don't come at me. I love Super Nintendo. I love all the games. But as far as the best, I have to open it up because it's in a brick case. But I'm going with ActRaiser. So, look, my old school, my name written right there on the bad boy.
Bad.
Razor. This game is so it blew my mind as a kid. So it's a hybrid. So it starts out platformer, this awesome knight. He's killing all these like gorgons and enemies and stuff, kind of a la, Altered Beast, Golden Axe type beat 'em ups kind of stuff. And then you go into this angel mode, this god mode, if you will, and you start to Sim City build the city out. And you have these guys coming to pray to the god, and then you have to go and protect them by going to defeat the enemy, and you go back to a platform every time after every single. ActRaiser 2 came out. Phenomenal game, except it shouldn't have been called ActRaiser 2. It should have just been called something totally different. It eliminated the God mode. It eliminated all that. It just was the platform side. It was a phenomenal game, but didn't feel ActRaiser. If you've ever played this game, you love it. If you haven't, try. It's a totally different style. It's kind of SimCity meets platforming meets a couple other things, but love this game, ActRaiser.
I don't know this game.
I knew you would.
I know this is 1990. I'm looking it up. Comes out, so I'm a few months old at this point. So I'm definitely not playing this game. But I will say I like the concept of the Sims. Now, I talked about it that I'm a fan of the Sims and the Sim Cities and this, all the Sim Farm back in the day. So I do like that concept of it. But again, blind spot. Haven't played this game.
Yeah, it's a blind spot for me too. I have not played this either. I definitely want to though, because I've seen and heard some good things about it. I know
the sound effects are fantastic as well. The music's good. It's just fantastically done. It's well made. It's in almost every if you bring up top best games of Super Nintendo, it's always in the list, but most people don't know it. Because it's not Mario World, it's not Metroid, it's not Castlevania, it's not, but it is there. It's not a big franchise, but it is phenomenal.
I have not played this yet, but I will say this. My wife got it for me for Christmas. So I haven't had a chance to check it out yet. But it did inspire one of my favorite games of all time, which is Dark Cloud on the PS2 with the with the overhead and going into the dungeons and things like that. That is my favorite game of all time, and this definitely inspired that. So I'm looking forward to checking this game out.
Dark Cloud was on my list in the PS2 world. I love Dark Cloud.
Fantastic game.
Freaking awesome.
All right,
it's Zelda, and it's ActRaiser inspires Zelda. That's what it is.
Yep. Truth.
Great game. All right, Andy, we're there. We are to the George.
These are the best platformers of all time, according to our opinion, which means everything.
Mine's the best one of all time for sure.
Okay,
so let's go. Brad Bash, you're up, man.
Oh, nope, Mad Belmont is up.
Nope, I'm up.
Mad Belmont, you're up.
All right, so I know that Kirk said that we haven't had a Rushmore yet. We're about to, because he already mentioned it. Come on, I am not going to betray my favorite game of all time. It's Symphony of the Night. I love that game. I'm so jealous of you for having that. I do not. But I want it. That is my gaming holy grail. Copy. That is my gaming holy grail. I want that so bad.
It's got the card in it and everything.
Oh, man. I can go on for days about this game. From the platforming, the gameplay, the variety, the builds, and the replay value that it has. I've literally played this game to death and then some. It's perfection to me. Pure perfection. There's nothing better than this game out there.
I agree.
I mean,
we already know what Andy's going to say, what I'm going to say.
I love it. Somebody's got to love it, so go for it.
Yeah, we all love it. So, hey, look, let's just jump right in. Rad Bash, you're up. Let's stop this and reset. Go.
So, this was tough, but we talked about Rare a little bit. I have to go with Donkey Kong Country. On the Super Nintendo.
Okay.
This is a classic, not only just a game, but a franchise as a whole. Like I can't tell you how many times I played this with my brother. It was his favorite game of like all time. And I mean, the soundtrack is phenomenal. This is when we got Diddy Kong. And I mean, it's classic Rare with how it looked and things like that. Like it was just peak Super Nintendo for me. And I mean, it's Donkey Kong. Who doesn't love Donkey Kong? Come on, right? Like, yeah. So yeah, this is a must.
All right, I'm going to jump in because Andy, you're going to talk a while. Game number 2 on the retro is Donkey Kong. So we kind of played a little Donkey Kong Country, a couple of the games. I'm going to tell you this. It's not my favorite. It's not in my Super Nintendo top 4. I don't hate it, but it is iconic. It revolutionized that style game. There's a ton of great things. I never owned these games. I don't have any nostalgia to them. So when I play them, there are a bit of flaws that I see a lot while I'm playing them. They're fun, but they're just not my mountain. But I know Andy will talk on that. Go ahead, Andy.
Belmont, what you think?
Donkey Kong Country, man. I love Donkey Kong Country. It's one of my favorite Super Nintendo games.
Nice.
I absolutely adore Diddy Kong. Is my favorite Nintendo side character, and he was introduced in this game. So I love it to death. And every time I play it, I cannot play it unless I'm Diddy. Okay, like
Diddy.
Yep. Oh no,
Bad Boys for life.
Bad Boys for life. Andy, you got a minute.
Well, I'm going to keep this Rushmore train rolling because my George is Donkey Kong Country for the Super Nintendo. It's the best game for the Super Nintendo. I'm 100% on board with you. It is fantastic. Look, here's the deal. The Donkey Kong franchise is probably my favorite franchise of all video games. You can give it to me in any form. You can give me any of the DK games. You can go old school original Donkey Kong where he's the villain and Mario's in this. I'm all for it. You can give me 1,000 other platformers that are out there, but it all began, my love began here at Donkey Kong Country on the Super Nintendo. I love this game for all of the reasons you shared, right? Because Rare is just a great company there. You know, a lot of those things that kind of from the Banjo-Kazooie, Banjo-Tooie, like I was talking about, you know, you see a lot of those things kind of carrying over between those games. Here's the deal. I played this game so much. I essentially knew where every secret barrel was. Like if I wanted to go bash the baddies or collect all the stars or do all that, I'm going to jump this cliff here. I'm going to get to this secret level. I just love these games. And look, here's the deal. The being able to get the animals and the levels. I don't like underwater levels in any game, but give me the Donkey Kong underwater level. Give it to me because I can get that swordfish and I'm all here for it. Give me, again, music, like you said. All of these, I will talk forever about Donkey Kong, and that would be our whole show. But this is the best game. This is the best platformer. When I knew this was the topic, I knew this was my George without a doubt.
I just know I should have parlayed your top three. I should have parlayed it. I would have won. I would have won. So, yeah, that's why I nailed you into, I painted you into a corner to have to restart this. But yeah, I knew you were going there. Donkey Kong is, you've talked, if you haven't talked about Banjo and Kazooie, you talked about Donkey Kong. Yes. I mean, that's just kind of how it is. But I've mentioned it in the past. I love DK. He was the best in the movie. He's one of my favorite in Mario Kart. He's just an awesome character in that whole world. I love him in Smash Brothers. I love him. Yeah, he's just a great character. But I just don't have the nostalgia for that game and that franchise. It's phenomenal. It's just not on my list.
Belmont, any more comments on it? We've talked about this. Everybody shared their thoughts on this one, but Donkey Kong's where it's at, man. Yeah,
man, it really is. I will agree with you on the music, though. The music is definitely great. I actually really like the level design in these games so much, you know, from going and getting on the vines and jumping across the cliffs and stuff like that. The only problem that I have with the first game is that stupid mine level. No,
I love it. No. I'm cool with the mine level, man, because you
just got to get good.
It's
I did get good. I did get good, but it drove me nuts as a kid.
Just got to get good.
Dude, the sound of those tracks just clanking, like the metal.
That was awesome. That was awesome. I like that.
The sounds in this game, man. So, yep, that's where it's at, man. All right, so in this thing for us, Kirk, man, you're George number one. You're going Nintendo. We know that. You've painted yourself into this corner.
I painted myself into this corner. I'm painting. But look, hey, this shout out to Iowa Retro Gamer Dad. He was on our Christmas video with you guys, with Rad Bash. But he's going to be on our next live coming up doing Rushmore of Nintendo games. And nice. Iowa, if you're watching, here's a spoiler alert. Here's the George. I'm going with the Blue Bomber, number 2, Mega Man 2. Right off the bat.
Knew it.
If there is a better game, I don't know it. This is it. Like, bro, Mega Man 2, just like you guys said with Donkey Kong, hours and hours finding out where to do the jumps, learning. Look, I figured out the glitches before those things even came on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? Back in the day, you're like figuring out all these different other things, how to pause. This was my first introduction into trying to do speed running, like just trying to do this as fast as I possibly could before that even was a thing. I was just looking, I got my instructions here, and I've got,
wow, look at that thing.
That belongs in a museum. So do you.
I've got an actual password written on there from back in the day, and then I open it up, and there's a section for passwords. There's a section for passwords. It's like falling apart. Like, and right here, another little password. Boom. I don't know where that brings me, and I think it's funny. I'm looking in here. It actually tells you how to beat Airman in here. This is hilarious. I don't know if I ever actually read that. But Mega Man 2, the whole every one of them can be on this list, especially X and 3. But my one pick is going to be 2. And music is phenomenal.
Good one, yeah. I'll say this on my Benjamins that I'm probably not going to mention today. Mega Man X was up there. I would have gone there. But again, I think these games were freaking hard. Man, as a kid, like back.
Well, the first one was nearly impossible because they didn't give you any continues. But
right, and that was the problem. But I think I haven't replayed these probably since in years. So I'd be interested to see going back. Is it as hard now as it was when we were children playing?
It is. It is.
Well, there you go. It's a goal game, but I love it. I love the character development and all of these things. How it's like Rock Man, like they
well, Rockman was his actual name in Japan. So yeah.
You guys
I love it. And I think I mentioned this in past. There was a time where I wanted to like design video games, and the games that I always was designed was like another Mega Man, and I would be like Helmet Man, and I'd put and I'd be drawing all these pictures of these guys. I love this series so much. I mean, I can't talk about it anymore.
I just got into Mega Man this year, actually, via the Legacy collections that are on the modern consoles. Yeah. I got I got both Legacy collections that gave me all of the original Mega Man games. I got both X collections that gave me all the X games. And I got Mega Man 11.
Was Travis Pastrana or Tony Hawk in those X games?
Different X games.
different X games. But anyway, so I got into those, and I'm making my way through them slowly, but I got through 1 and 2, and they are both super hard, but I'm kind of, battle tested with Castlevania. So, I got through it, and I love 2.
So I like Mega Man. Mega Man don't like me. I'm awful at those games. I've played just about every single one of them, but each one kicks my butt all the time. I love it, but it don't love me. It's a one-sided relationship.
That is Kirk with first-person shooters. If it's a first-person shooter, Kirk is the worst.
Yeah, I'm like this.
We're in the sky.
All right, guys. So look, this is the second part of our show. We are at the Benjamins. Benjamins is a fun name for our honorable mentions because we feel Benjamin Franklin was the 5th guy thought about to be on the mountain. So here's the 5th guy that would be our honorable mention. So this is where our little segment of trying to figure out who you think just missed the mountain. We'll be back with all about the Benjamins.
Let's go.
Rushmore Show, where it's all about your top 5 and we keeping it live. Whatever. Yeah. So
7 and 8.
And 8 and 10 and whatever. And so we're going to do our honorable mentions now. And it's the same order. And so here's the rules of the game. Guys, I know you're new. We cannot mention any of the picks we have already previously mentioned. And Belmont, you're up. You get the first pick, which means whatever you pick, we can't pick from here on out. Who's the first video game off the mountain that has not been chosen yet today?
My first Benjamin, Blasphemous. Another great Metroidvania. I love this game. This one did not make it. It's one that I did play earlier this year, and I got it on Switch again, so that shows you how much I love it.
I'm so kind of blind spotted on these ones, so I like the education that I'm getting today. So good way to start our Benjamins. Brad, Bash, you were up. What is your first Benjamin? Just missed the list.
Sly Cooper. Great game, great platformer, good stealth. I love this game, but there were so many others I had to pick. But yeah, Sly Cooper would be my first one.
All right. So here's the deal. I'm going to get to mine. I have a separate criteria for these because there's no way. I have a list of 1,000 that I can put out there. So I'm going to go with some that are probably a little bit more obscure. That for at least overall, it's not the Marios and the Sonics and the things like that. And my first one that I'm going to go with is from the Sega Genesis, and I'm going to go with one of the coolest gameplays of all time. I'm going to Comix Zone. Comix Zone was
that game is rad.
Platformer where you were in the panels of a comic and you got to jump between them and you got to choose kind of, do I go right, do I go down? Really cool concept, cool soundtrack, cool animation. Comix Zone for the Sega Genesis.
All right, man. I feel like I have a good selection here. I'm gonna go. It's all retro, as you know. I'm all retro. First pick, I'm going with DuckTales. Yes. Right off the bat.
That's a good one.
That's a good one there. And next, I'm gonna go with one of the hardest games of all time, Battletoads.
Oh my gosh! Pause music, one of the best.
There you go, man. Back to you, Andy.
Cool one. I love that game. All right, keeping with my theme of kind of some more obscure ones. I remember this game, and here's the thing. I had was this a Mandela effect? Was this something I always remembered this, and as I'm doing my research, I'm like, no, this was actually a game. So I'm excited for this. Again on the Sega Genesis. Actually, no. I'm sorry. This one's Super Nintendo. Maybe on the Genesis too, because some of them were crossed over. But I'm going with Mickey Mania. This was Disney, and it was Mickey. It was a really cool concept. You kind of played through the history of Disney up to that point. You started out with Steamboat Willie, and then you moved through a lot of the cartoons, and you were Mickey in this platform. It was a really cool concept. I remember playing it. I thought I remember playing it as a kid, but I actually do remember playing it as a kid. Mickey Mania.
Solid pick.
All right. Back to you, Rad Bash. You're next. Benjamin. Not making the list quite.
Jak and Daxter. It came so close. I love Jak and Daxter, but it just there are some flaws in it that I just can't. I couldn't put it on the top, but it is a great game.
So when I was going through my PS2, this and one other franchise I think are the best franchises. I can't believe it's the first time this is being mentioned. But I didn't play them as a kid. So yeah, they just don't have the nostalgia, but I love them. I got a few of them over here. So.
Yeah. All right, Belmont,
you're up twice, back to back.
Yeah, man. Curse you, by the way, Rad, because I had Jak and Daxter on my Benjamin. You took it.
I'd say I'm sorry, but I'm not.
But yeah, so now that I can't pick that, I am gonna pick, however, Crash 3 Warp.
Nice.
Love that game. I love Crash. I love everything about Crash, and I feel that 3 is the best game in that series. Just because you had more moves at your disposal, you had the speed boots from the speed shoes, from the second game, and I just feel that the levels in that game were designed a lot better than the other two games. So yeah, gotta go with Crash 3. And for my second pick up here, I gotta go SpongeBob SquarePants Battle for Bikini Bottom. Another
solid pick.
Game.
Yes.
Another licensed game. This one barely missed a cut too. It was another game that I got. I got this one for Christmas, and I actually mentioned it in Rad's Christmas special.
Yep.
I love this game. It literally felt like I was playing an episode of SpongeBob, and I'm a huge SpongeBob fanatic. So yeah.
All right, Rad Bash, back to you for another pick. What you got?
So, Nightmare on Elm Street on the NES. Now I know.
Wow.
I know this gets hate. I know it does. But I have had some good times with this game. Like I think if you can ignore all of the hate it gets by the YouTubers, you can actually have a lot of fun with this. It's Freddy Krueger. Okay, come on. It's Freddy Krueger.
That's an interesting pick. It does get a lot of hate, but I'm not hating you.
Wow.
I think I'm cool with it. It's definitely not a go-to, but solid pick. Solid pick for Benjamin. Absolutely.
Dude, it's a hard game, and I have tried a lot of years to try and beat that.
I can't beat it.
Oh, man, that game's hard.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't beat Battletoads either, but there you go.
Also true.
My next one, I talk about this all the time, and I'm be interested. Have you guys heard of this game? All right. Kirk, I've talked about it plenty of times. I try to get it on my Rushmore, but it's just it's one of those ones that I don't know if people know it, but for the Sega Genesis, we're going to go to Rocket Knight Adventures.
Yes.
Rocket Knight Adventures. Love that game so much.
So, just throwing this out there. ChatGPT says this is in the top 3.
Really?
Almost every list I find, this is in the top 3. It's like they talk high on it. It's all over. My only problem is I have never really played this. I've got it here. I've always wanted to play it. I just never played it.
Dude, man,
I haven't played it either. So, yeah, I'm kind of left out on that too.
So there are several directions I get to go now, and I'm trying to figure out in my mind. So I was going to go these, but I think I got to go these. And yeah, I'm going to leave these because we've already talked about both of those today. I'm going to go with these because they're not going to get mentioned, I'm sure. So number 1, I'm going to go with another Disney title. I'm going to go with Rescue Rangers.
Nice.
Yeah. All right.
Rescue Rangers. All right. And I'm going with another impossible game, Ninja Gaiden.
Yes.
Or Gaiden. Or Ninja Gaiden, which is not how it's said. But anyways, go ahead. That's going to be my picks.
Good Benjamins. Way to go. And I knew that mine weren't going to get picked either. It hurts that so many of them on my list that are, I know we've missed 1,000.
I'm just upset this one's not being picked.
Impossible. But I'm going to go to probably my most retro of all the games that I'm picking today. I'm going back to, I think this is 1993. And give me the Game Boy. But I'm going to go with, and this is just a nostalgia pick for me, Super Mario Land 3, but it's Wario Land.
Wario!
From there on Game Boy, Wario Land, which was actually Super Mario Land 3, but it was fantastic. You get to wear the Viking helmet, and you get to crush through walls and things. This is a super cool game. Wario is another fun character, and
2 is better.
Last one, Wario Land on the Game Boy.
So we talked about it, but we didn't mention it. All Stars, but specifically Mario 3 and All Stars.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. That's
Specific like that.
Thank you.
Okay, yeah, it was the best way to play it in my opinion. All Stars was a great collection, but yeah, I had to go 3 with that. So
Yeah. I love 2. I just hate those. I hate the desert levels in that.
Oh, we all do. Yeah. Anybody who says they like that's lying.
Yeah, for real.
Anyway, close us out. You got the last pick. You have every single platformer in the history that we have not mentioned today. And where are you going to go?
Okay, so for my last one. Oh man, this is tough. This is so tough. But I got to go this way, and it's Hollow Knight. Another Metroidvania.
Ooh, okay.
But I love this game. This has one of the best art styles that I have ever seen in my life. It's hand-drawn. It's beautiful. It's chef's kiss. Perfection. Love it. And this is a game that I am currently playing through at the moment. So that's why it didn't make it into the list, is because I'm currently playing through it. But man, I cannot get enough of it. The combat is fun. The levels designed beautifully, and what music is there? I don't know if there's any more music later in the game, but the music that I have heard, awesome. So yeah, I gotta go Hollow Knight.
Yeah, this is on a lot of lists, man. That's a good finish. I'm very surprised. I'm very, very surprised. Only one Metroid, only one Castlevania mentioned.
Oh, you see, for the sake of variety, I kept it to one game per franchise because my entire Rushmore would have been nothing but Metroid.
Yeah, well, Benjamin's all things were off, but for me, but yeah, I'm glad Mario 3 got re-mentioned. I got whatever. There are a few other Castlevanias and Metroids out there. I assumed somebody we're going to mention. Didn't realize that Rad doesn't like those, and Andy is just boring. So we are just playing. Just playing. No, hey, that's our show. That is our show, man. First off, guys, thank you so much for coming and hanging out with us. I know you took out of your time during this Christmas season. Man, Merry Christmas, belated to most of you. The time that we're recording this is right before the big day. So thank you for hanging out with us. It's 2024 at this point, and We have so much in store, but first, before you go and do anything that we need you to go and check out Mad Belmont and Rad Bash at their spots. Let's do this. Mad Belmont, tell them where they can find you, what you got going on for the new year, and why they should come and check you out.
Okay, so you can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube, all at the Mad Belmont. I keep the same name on everything just so that you can find me pretty easily. And I got a lot of stuff planned. I'm going to be taking a break from YouTube, but I got some videos already that I'm working on, and I'm going to be working on them over the weekend, and I'll have them out. But I have some Zelda videos planned. I have the story that I was telling you about with my best midnight launch ever. I got that video done. And so I've got some stuff in the pipe work, for my channel and stuff like that. So be on the lookout for stuff like that.
Perfect. Rad Bash, tell them where they can find you, what you got going on, what's 2024 look like for you, and why they could check you out.
Yeah, so you can find me everywhere, Rad Bash Gaming, except Twitter. Twitter, it's the Rad Bash Show. Twitter decided they didn't like me, so they took my account away. I had to make a new one. But yeah, Rad Bash Gaming everywhere. You can also join the Discord I'm a part of, which Kirk had mentioned, the Radical Losers. Everybody's welcome. But yeah, content-wise, I got my room tour coming, which has been a requested thing for so long now, and it's been I'm in a different spot because there's mess everywhere trying to put shelves up and make look nice, so I'm over here now. But yeah, room tour, reviews, collection stuff, pickups. My big Christmas pickup will be up by now. So yeah, I got a lot of retro content coming.
Nice.
We love it. So the room tour is not a myth anymore.
Nah, not a myth. Working on it.
Nice. So hey guys, last a couple Fridays back, with Rad Bash put out a video of tons of video game content creators and other folks, and we got invited to give our best Christmas memory. Go check that video out for sure over at Rad Bash Gaming. Check out the Radical Losers and the whole group. We just so appreciate you guys. We hope to build a great network with you and your friends, and welcome anybody that's come to join us from you guys, and check out all of our video game content. We've got a ton of in the playlist that you can go check. We've got more coming this month and next month, and you might like a lot of the nostalgia too if you're a video gamer. So be on the lookout for all that. Andy, you got anything you want to tell our friends?
Yeah, man, I'm just excited. We've been talking about it for a while. We mentioned it earlier. Reboot, unconventional ministry. Very excited. For that. This is really, our heart behind a lot of this is, being a Christians who YouTube, not necessarily a Christian YouTube, but this is now where we get to kind of venture into our calling, right? And really what God's called us to. And many people who come on our show are not Christians, and that's cool, and that's fine. We love networking with everybody, but one of those things, as passionate as I am about platforming games and games, I'm that much more passionate about Jesus. So I'm very excited for what we got coming up at the conventions, and who knows where it goes from there. So we are in year 3, Kirk. Year three.
So look, we got 2 conventions coming up. We got Louisiana RetroCon with Davey, both spring and fall, and we've got the St. Tammany Collectors Con in. So the RetroCon is in Morgan City, Louisiana. The St. Tammany Collectors Con will be in Mandeville, Louisiana, and that's both spring and fall. Dates, look out on our pages, but it's the end of March and in April. So it's going to be in the March-April time frame. But we're going to be having service there. We'd love for you to come and hang out with us, spend some time, take a picture, maybe take home a t-shirt or something, and just spend some time with us. Spin the wheel. So yeah, we'll be back doing that on the front, and we've been invited to a few others too. Pelicon, thank you for inviting us. CoastCon, thank you for inviting us. Anime Night, thank you for inviting us. The Cosplay Con, thank you for inviting us. I just don't know how we can fit them all in, but we're gonna do our best to do whatever we can to hang out with you guys. And man, again, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and Andy, time to tell our friends good night.
Let's say good night for now our 3rd year, like we always do. This is the Rushmore Show, where it's all about your top 4
and nothing more.
Nothing more.
Peace.